To jumpstart change for the new year, I've put together the 10-step framework that I've used myself multiple times throughout the year. I've helped other people like-minded as you, people that do businesses, people that don't, people in my personal life, people outside my personal life. So this video is for people who can resonate with the message. Make sure you watch the end of the video because all of these phases are going to be working together. They don't work single-handedly. And even if you think that you are at a certain stage in your life where you think that I am good, I know what I'm doing, watch the end of this video. There's a quote that goes, "You cannot teach a man that thinks he knows everything." So watch the end of the video and let's get straight into it. I'm not gonna yap too much. I'm gonna try and keep it very concise. Make sure that you have something to take notes on or put down because actionable steps here. Made sure that it's very actionable and you can implement it today. So let's just get straight into it. Phase number one is gonna be make the decision to change. Nobody can help someone who does not want to help themselves, all right? So you need to decide that you will change, all right? It's not, I want to change, anything like that. You need to decide you will. In fact, if you clicked on this video, shows me that you are actually serious about it. Now, what you need to understand here is going to come to, the sooner you're committed, the sooner you actually start achieving your success, right? The sooner you make the decision to change, the sooner you implement these things, the sooner you'll start to see success. So don't sit and just like wait for the perfect moment because nothing in this world is perfect. There'll never be a perfect time. The perfect time was yesterday. The next perfect time is today. You also need to understand that your word is law or nothing will ever work. So make sure that when you say something, you do it. If you cannot do this, it's going to be very hard for you because as you say something, your mind will start to understand, okay, when he says this, it's serious. If you start to, trigger down a bit and don't really follow through on your word is going to mean nothing. And that's going to be for the rest of your life until you actually start taking it serious. If you don't choose, life will choose for you. If you do not choose to change or if you do not choose what you want to do, whatever, life will choose for you. This is not going to be any bullshit in this video. I'm just going to put it down straight as it is, all right? A big thing for me was nothing in my life changed until I actually made the irreversible decision that I'm going to do this. So a big thing for me was whenever I heard somebody, I saw somebody or someone even said to me just what they did, if it made me self-reflect or inspired me or made me like want it, I would implement it directly then and there. I'll give you two examples. Like I remember I was talking to this guy and I was asking him like, do you want a cookie? I don't know where, but whatever. And he said, no, I don't eat sugar. Right then and there, that day, I stopped eating sugar. Now, I haven't done that for I think 1.5 years. But you see, if you make these decisions and you really follow through on your word, like the longer you go, for me, it's harder to start eating sugar than it is to continue not eating sugar. You get what I'm saying? Another example of this would be that I heard somebody say like, stop listening to music, it's fucking up your dopamine system. Right then and there, I stopped listening to music for I think it was about 3 months. And trust me, try it if you haven't. It's a fucking incredible, it's just incredible to be honest. But yeah, you need to understand like, you need to put yourself in situations where you're actually exposed to these people that have these different habits, different standards for themselves, etc. And when you set the standard here, trust me, you're gonna achieve way better things than setting the standard here. Now, remember that the graveyard is full of people who thought they had more time. So make the decision now if you have not. This is the phase one. So this is just a key cornerstone to everything. If you cannot make the decision to change, trust me, none of this will actually work for you. It won't. I'm just telling you straight away, it won't work. But with that said, let's move on to the phase number two. This one is going to be a value-packed one. So make sure you stick through this. And this one is going to be cutting the noise, right? You need to understand, like, when you see people make change in their life, etc., everyone call it overnight success, but it's never that. It's never the case. It's never the case. It's always the case that they've been working on it for probably a decade or 5, 2, 3 years, whatever it may be, right? You need to understand, like, the work is done in silence. The work is not done on social media. The work is not done around all the people. It's done in silence. You need to understand that every single action you do must have an ROI for this year, all right? If you go to a fucking party, what the fuck is the ROI? You might get sex, but what's that? After that day, will it have a compounding effect? Probably not. So would it be better than to, maybe go gym? That's having an ROI on your life in a compounding effect, right? Consumption without education is the case. So if you're consuming this right now and you have no actions or no thoughts of implementing what I'm saying here, this is just okay. Like, I don't know what you're doing here, to be honest. A non-negotiable rule that you should have for 2026 is to not have more than 200 things, all right? When I say own 200 things, so whether that be your toothpaste, whether that be pants, shirts, clothes, whatever, own less than 200 things. This is gonna help you move more. So let's say you're in an entrepreneurial mindset and you're working on a business. This is gonna help you be able to be more agile. You won't have to be one country only. You can go multiple countries because you have less things to worry about. You have less stress about maintaining some things, and your focus is always going to be on the most important thing for your life. Now, for social media, I think this is a big one since social media is just growing like a fucking crazy one. I need you to understand that you should only create, learn, do not escape the life that you're miserable of, right? Like I see a lot of people, they just watch social media just because they can't bear the life that they actually live on a day-to-day basis. So understand that you should only create or learn, all right? Simple as that. And here's a more actionable step for you to understand like what to do. For the next 60 days, don't use social media unless it's for business or income growth. No going out, no bullshit, no distractions. Now you can understand what the bullshit and distraction is for your personal life. I'll just put this so you can understand, because you need to apply these things for yourself. For the next 60 days, lock in on one thing. Make sure it's one. Make sure whatever business model you're gonna do that one. Don't sit and do 3 different type of things, whatever. Take care of your health is a very important one. Learn, execute, and tighten your circle, because you'll actually see who stays. This is a thing that I just like, as soon as I locked in, you stop being with all the people, you stop being with all the friends, whatever. You actually start to see who your real friends are. And trust me, you probably think you have a bunch of friends. If you have not, good. Keep it tight. Keep it tight. Phase number 3 is going to be the phase protocol. I think this is going to be the one they would actually dial in on. This is the thing that everything else is going to compound with this one. Things only stagnate when you are stagnant. It's simple. You must grow for the business to grow. That's a very simple thing to say, but I think a lot of people really misconstrue that. Like when you're at a plateau in your life or in your business, it's usually because you are not growing as a person. Comfort creates procrastination. Proper planning prevents poor results. This is what I mean. Watch this video to the end. Execute on all these things, put them together for yourself. Proper planning prevents poor results. That does not mean they should spend all your time planning, because planning isn't doing it. Looking about how to do it isn't doing it, etc. The only thing that's doing it is doing it, right? And time box intensity beats vague effort. This is why I put it down as not 100 days or the full year, because you can truly change within 60 days, all right? The 333 framework that you should be understanding is it takes 3 days to initiate change, 30 days to form a habit, and 90 days to change identity. And you need to understand that you should prioritize systems over disciplines. No people that have achieved any success rely on willpower. They rely on their systems, and they rely on making sure that their routines and habits are in check. They don't sit and take willpower out of every single day and every single small decision. They don't. They focus on the big levers, and that's what they work on. Here you can take a screenshot of this if you want, but basically this is for the phase to make it for yourself, because this is going to be catapulting for the rest of the video. All of the next steps are going to be applying to this. So what are your weaknesses, what are your strengths, responsibilities, and what's your priorities? List these down, write them down on a piece of paper, whatever it may be, and then you're going to execute on the phase, which is going to be, you're going to have a start date and end date. I would not say to set a start date today, I'm going to be honest, because it's easier if you start moving towards them. I'd say 3 days from now, you should have a start date and end date, and you're going to have objectives throughout this. So this is just as an example, where let's say day 21, I want to be in this position, I want to have learned these things, I want to have this income, whatever it may be, right? And you're going to have these things, and then you're going to obviously make sure that you do the daily actions to achieve that thing. Now the keys here is to understand what's the cost of me not achieving my objectives. So I know there's a bunch of people probably that has a lot of fucking pressure on their back, right? You have to do X, Y, and Z. You have these things to pay and whatever. That's good. Trust me. Stress, pressure is what creates fucking diamonds, right? Pressure creates diamonds. There's a quote that goes that way. And be very clear and detailed on what position you want to be in by the end of the year, all right? Like you can say, I want to make 10K a month, but that's not really specific, is it? Right? Is it profit, revenue, whatever? Like you need to understand like what's the actual detailed thing that I want to do? Where do I want to live? Where do I want to be? What does my relationships look like? What do maybe my personal brand look like? What does my business look like? How many people have I hired, etc. It goes a long way, but you need to understand, be very detailed, try and explain the full day. How would you live? What would you do on a day-to-day basis? All of these things really make sure, it will just make you visualize it more and actually have a vision that goes very clear. And also make sure you have 6 non-negotiable habits. These things you should have not done before. Make sure they are not easy. They should be 6 non-negotiable habits that makes you be able to achieve the objective if you commit to these every single day. My writing is a little bit sketchy, but boys, gotta get that monster in, I can't lie. And as I say here, you need to understand what you need to stop doing, what you need to start doing, and then the daily actions that will have to be executed to achieve the objective. This is a very key framework to use if you're struggling with finding out what to do, what your next steps is, etc. Imagine that you are being filmed every single day. As soon as you wake up till you go to bed, a film crew is watching you. What actions would you do? How would you convey yourself? What behaviors would you change? What behaviors would you not change? If you have that frame, you won't have any fucking procrastination or whatever, right? You get to work. The next thing is, what is the audience screaming at you to do? This is for the people that maybe a little bit further into their journey. So what's, like, imagine you're living in a movie, your life is a movie. What is the audience screaming at you to do, right? It's probably going to be very obvious if you think from that frame. Is it going to be moving country, whatever, right? But let's go on to the phase number 4. This is going to be a very key one. Now, as I've said, all of these work together. So make sure that you're watching all of these and taking these into seriousness, all right? These all work together. They don't work separately. Now, moving on to phase number 4 is going to be rewire who you are, right? If you want to become someone new, you need to do things you have never done before. Simple as that. And you have not explored what you're capable of yet. People call things too much when they're still protecting the old version of themselves they do not want to let go of. That's why you see a lot of people saying, oh, you need work-life balance, you need this, that. Bro, they have not let go of the person that they are. People that have a mission, have a purpose, they want to do that no matter what the cost is. For me, it's harder to not work every day than to work every day. You need to also prove to yourself before the world proves it to you. This is a big thing. You cannot sit here and ask for the world to, give you money, give you a job, give you a car, whatever. You need to prove to the world that you are worthy of it, that you have worked for it, etc. before the world gives it to you. This is also when delusion comes in. You need to be delusional. I mean, this might be a little bit controversial, but you understand that you have to have some sort of delusion. Every single person that succeeded, big people, I'm talking about Elon Gates, whatever, Jeff Bezos, these people seem delusional until it worked, right? So develop that delusion and have that reality for yourself. Why? Everyone else is going to try and put their beliefs and their world system and how the world works on you. But you need to live in that delusion, all right? It's going to work out until the end. Trust me, I've used this myself and it actually works. You can manipulate your mind. It's very easy. That's the only thing you have control in this life. This is why this is a very, very, very important one. I really want to emphasize that. I'm going to make it quite quick and simple, but just understand that this is a very key one. And to become something you've never been, you have to do stuff you've never done. Don't say anything. You don't need to change your habits, don't need to change your environment, etc. You're going to have to do that. We're going to go into that. Moving on. A very powerful frame and how you need to literally speak to yourself is, from now on, I act like this man. Even when reality disagrees, do not second guess yourself. You need that type of confidence. Like when you walk in and you pay, don't stand there and just wait for it to say approve. Just walk out. That's the type of confidence you need to have. I know this is a very simple example, but you need to have that confidence with every single thing that you do in your life. How you do one thing is how you do everything, all right? Make sure you have confidence in every single aspect of your life. At the gym, working, whatever it may be. How you speak is a very important thing as well. Now, when it comes to rewiring who you are, it's going to be, especially on this journey, it's going to be a little difficult because you're going to have this plateau. It's going to be very no real improvement during a certain period of time. But you need to understand that you need to reward your efforts and not the results. I'm not saying that you cannot control the results, but I'm saying that it's easier if you reinforce the efforts that you're putting in, because that will actually redefine your identity and also put value into what aspects do you actually value. So do you value hard work? Do you value getting shit done every single day? Or do you value maybe seeing another zero on your bank account? Well, you can't really, to a degree, you can always control your result, but I'm telling you right now, if you focus on the efforts and the inputs you do, you'll be way more successful than always focus on the result, all right? It's easier to look forward, but you also have to be present at what you're doing right now because you're living today, not tomorrow. And using sentences as I am a morning person, etc. So I am a person that works hard. I am a person that has a good deep work session every day. These are simple things you can implement to trick your mind. It's not really tricking your mind. It's literally just you saying what you are. And develop a huge fucking ego. This is also going to be controversial. I'm not saying they should go around and be a fucking dickhead to everyone. I'm saying that you need to have an internal ego where you think, I'm good at this, I'm the GOAT at this, I'm good, whatever. But you still have to be humble, you need to learn, etc. This is for an internal purpose. It's not to convey to the outside world. This is for you to be assured of yourself. What did I say in the beginning? Your word is law. You need to understand that. That's what I'm saying. I am a morning person. If I say that, my word is law. Now I'm a fucking morning person. It's simple. Now, for the people that are serious, here are some of my book recommendations I would give you if you're going on this journey. It would be Power vs. Force, 50th Law by 50 Cent, Outsmart Reality, and The Courage to Be Disliked. Take a screenshot, whatever you need. These are just books that I recommend. You don't have to buy them. I'd recommend them. Phase number 5, which is a very, very key one, and I've also touched on this in the previous ones, but I just need you to understand that you need to simplify and automate your life to the degree where shit happens automatically, all right? What I mean by this is, for me, example, I start the day before. How do I do that? I plan my day. I wake up with a clear plan. I have clear goals, and I have exactly what I need to do, the main priorities, etc. All right? So make sure that you have these things dialed in before you even get to the day, because if you wake up and now you need to plan your day, now you need to figure out what to do, when to eat, etc. It's just going to be a bunch of things that's just taking away your cognitive order. But I'm going to go into that concept soon. Just set up a fucking routine, all right? Fixed routine when you wake up, when you eat. Work blocks. I recommend 90-minute work block session is good, but you can obviously have more depending on your flow. 9 minutes works great for me. Depending on you, everything is not applicable to you the same way it's applicable to me. The biggest thing here is going to be having a fixed bedtime, all right? Go to bed at the same time every single day, because your body's going to understand when you should wake up, when you should go to sleep, etc. So it's just going to help a lot. And also have fixed meals. Don't be you don't want to waste time and energy on what do I want to eat? Do I want to have that? Do I want to put some pesto in here? Whatever. Don't do that. Just eat the same things every single day. Have 3 meals max and clean your workspace, all right? I say a lot of people, they work in shit places. Obviously, depending on you, I feel like I am more focused on what I'm about to do if I have a clean workspace, because otherwise I'm focusing on all the shit around me, all right? So that's an example of how you can actually execute this. So for your routine or planning your day, what I do is I have the main needle movers, 1 to 3 max. I don't do more than that. And those are the ones that I'm going to be focused on. Until I get those completed, I don't do the secondary needle tasks, all right? And the main needles, I obviously do my deep work session. And yeah, and then this is just an example for how you can, have your routine, whatever. And this is a big concept here I want to really break down for you. If you're going to take something out of this, really understand this, the cognitive order bottle, right? So you have a limited amount of cognitive power every single day. What I mean by that is willpower. You have a different, the amount of energy that you put out to the world, you won't receive everything back directly. So it's very important. You have this full water bottle when you wake up, etc. And the more things you do, let's say you wake up, okay, now you're considering, oh shit, should I go to the gym now or in 2 hours? Okay, then you go to work and then you think, oh shit, wait, the gym is gonna close soon, should I go now? You're tipping water bottle, you're tipping your cognitive power every single time you're thinking about doing these decisions. This is why I'm saying simplify and automate your life. Have a set routine, have set timelines for when you're gonna do certain things, have things happen automatically. You wanna keep as much of this as possible and make it go towards the work or what you're pursuing. You should not make it go to boring and low level tasks, all right? That's not what it's meant to do. So don't waste your energy on low level decisions. What should I eat? What should I do? Etc. When should I go train? Don't do that. Make sure you're trying to understand that whenever you speak to someone, whenever you go and meet someone or whatever you're doing, you're tipping a little bit of that out. So you don't want to lose this. You want to try and keep as much as possible towards the end of your day. This should only primarily go to your work, all right? And I hope you're keeping up. I'm speaking a little bit quick, but that's just how I do it. We've gone through the 5 phases already, so it's just halfway done. And just understand, take your time with these. Don't sit here and fucking rush all of this. As I said, have a start date, 3 days. Implement these things. During these 3 days, make sure that all of these things are on point, right? How you speak to yourself. Start implementing these habits. The sooner you do, the better. But make sure that your start date is the decision date, all right? After that date, no going back. No going back. Do hard things daily. Discomfort is the signal that you're going to be looking for in every scenario. Why I'm saying this is because to be someone you've never been, you have to do things you've never done, and you have to put yourself in situations where you've never been before or where it feels uncomfortable. It's very key. If you want to really make change this year, you have to put yourself in discomfortable situations and just reframe how you view it. View it as, this is what I have to do to get to the next stage. This is where I'm not the best at. Because in comfort, nothing grows, all right? Every time you complete something challenging, reward yourself, right? Saying I am is a very, very powerful thing, especially if you really take it serious with my word is law. And reward yourself for doing these challenging things, saying I am the person that does this when no one else does it, right? If you wake up early, say I'm the fucking person that wakes up early and does the work and gets to work and gets these shit done, right? This is gonna play into part with developing an ego and that illusion for yourself. A lot of people maybe think that's weird, whatever, but if you just do it, you'll actually see it will help you, because doing all of these things, moving in an entrepreneurial way, etc., is hard, all right? It's not easy. It's not for regular people. You'll have a long stage where you're really not seeing any results, etc., which is why I'm telling you to develop this ego, because it's going to help you throughout that phase. And the big thing to understand is nobody respects the person that got it without sacrificing anything from it. Nobody respects a rich kid that just inherited everything. Nobody does. And be the person people want to connect with and tell their stories to, or give their business ideas with, become your business partners, etc. Be that person. let's say you have an idol, or not an idol, but just like someone you really look at as like, oh shit, I want to be like this guy, you know, he's good in business, whatever. A lot of people have Andrew Tate back in the days. I think it's kind of shifting right now, but I think if you have that and you really put yourself in the frame, okay, what do I need to do to become the person I want to connect with? What do I need to become the person that I want to look up to? And become that one. Become it. Develop the characteristics, everything. All of these things play into play. Now, for example, now you can see the examples I put down here for like hard things to do every day. I mean, these are not really how like, it's not too hard. What I'm saying is just like these small things have a compounding effect, all right? So I used to do like 20-minute cardio every single day. I used to do heavy ab sessions, like no pause or everything. And just like implementing some of these hard things is going to be very key, because it's also going to boost your confidence, all right? And confidence, like, it displays in every single area of your life. My spelling, like the spelling here is crazy, I can't lie. Whatever. If you're dependent on other people seeing the effort you put in, you will not go as far as a person who doesn't, all right? This is what I say with like the entrepreneurial journey. You're going to have this long phase where you're not seeing any results. Same if you're going on the personal development journey. You're going to have this phase where you're really like focusing on yourself, etc. But you won't really see any much results. But you need to understand that like you can't be dependent on other people giving you condemnations for it or whatever. You need to understand. That's why I'm really emphasizing that put into frame of you need to reward yourself internally and develop that ego, because it's going to keep you aligned throughout these phases. The unseen work will be unseen until the success is achieved, and people will call it overnight success, and you just have to get used to it. You see a lot of people out here, you know, flexing a lot of fucking shit, but at the end of the day, that work did not come from nowhere, all right? The unseen work is what's going to give you that success. And yeah, I'm not going to stay on this tone too long. I hope you guys are getting the value out of this video. I've been talking for quite some time now, so hopefully you've actually implemented or maybe wrote down some things. But these next 4 ones are going to be very key for you if you really want to make change. These things are like, all of these things I've implemented myself, all right? I'm not speaking from a forge's perspective or anything like that. I'm just sharing what I've done and what my people and the people I connect with have done, all right? Phase number 7 is going to be identity reinforcement. I'm hitting heavy on identity, because it's one of the biggest things that when you get it right, everything changes. Everything. All right. And identity is built by repeated discomfort and internal growth, as I talked about in the previous one. Every action is either voting for your old self or your new self. All right. And I'm going to be sharing that one in the next one as well. But these are things that I used to do, and I still do them today. Write one page every day from the perspective of the man that you are, all right? When I say the man that you are, I need you to understand that you need to view yourself from the man that you want to become, not the man that you are today, all right? Really important thing, if you can just skip that fucking gap, don't have that gap, all right? Don't say, I will be successful. Say, I am successful, all right? But an I am statement is a very important thing. And have clear standards for yourself, right? And if you don't meet them, don't obsess over it. Just punish yourself. To be honest, that's what I do. Do a heavy cardio session, fasting, train 2 times harder, work more, etc. All right. I'm not saying that you should, like, why I'm saying you should not obsess over them and punish yourself instead is because obsessing over like a minor mistake or whatever it may be is tipping your water bottle, right? It's like taking a knife and just like putting it through the water bottle. It's just gonna leak throughout the day if you're sitting there thinking about, fuck, I didn't do that, etc. It's just not good. It's not helping you. And this is a page of how I write. Like when I say write one page every single day from the man that you are. This is what I say. You can read that if you want to. I'm not gonna go into it, but yeah. A key thing to do is to rate every single day. So 1 to 10, what did I do good? What did I not do? And what made it not a 10? And what should I avoid for the next day? Now, understand that like if you're not tracking, you're not really caring about if you're gonna do certain things, all right? You need to understand like tracking things are really important. Like if you have a business, you track your profit, right? And if you don't track how your day goes, then tomorrow you won't have anything to improve, right? 1% better every day, as we say. Phase number 7, kill comfort and procrastination, all right? If you have disagreed with any one of these phases so far, I want you to pay attention to that, because growth doesn't happen when you feel it's safe. It happens where ego gets uncomfortable and humbled probably, right? That's why I say put yourself in uncomfortable situations. And procrastination isn't you being tired or confused, it's you avoiding responsibility, to be honest, right? If you really wanted it done, it would already be done. The delay is the decision. As I said previously, you need to make the decision today that I'm gonna do this, that, all right? Understand that. And comfort is very dangerous because it feels so good while it's slowly making you weaker. You don't notice it day by day, but over time it kills urgency, hunger, and self-respect. Are really emphasizing on ego and delusion, because you need to develop that self-respect for yourself, all right? And don't let yourself, like, I don't let myself get comfortable. I always create pressure for myself, all right? Whether, like, sometimes you may not have that much pressure, whatever, but this is a thing I see a lot of rich people do as well. And like, let's say you have a bunch of fucking money. If you're just stacking that bread, like, you're really comfortable, right? You're not really thinking about, oh shit, what if I can't pay rent, whatever. Like, you're good. So spend some of that money. So now you have less money. Now you feel less comfortable with what you have, and now you want to make more. And putting yourself in different situations where, you know, maybe going to Dubai is a thing, you know. You see a lot of people fucking money. You'll get discomfortable, you'll feel awake, right? And if I feel settled, I know I'm slipping. Like, discomfort is how I stay awake. If I sit here and be comfortable, I could just lay down and just chill, right? But that's not, like, who does that benefit? Nothing, right? Because I'm discomfortable. I have shit to get done. I know there's pressure on myself. And if you don't have this pressure, I know a lot of people out here are still hungry and have that pressure. I think the pressure is really good. Stress and urgency is like the biggest things. If you don't have it, just make something, like take something that you can use as that pressure or stress. Like, do manufacture it, to be honest. And as I said previously, like, reinventing yourself should not happen every year. It should happen. Now, reinventing yourself shouldn't happen once a year. Once your phase is complete, you get on a new one, right? Talked about this. I've used this multiple times throughout the year. Don't just change once a year. You can change 5 times a year, right? You can change, I don't know, unlimited, to be honest. And here's just a perspective for you to understand. Like, you have 2 parts of your brain, right? You have the one that's comfortable where you are, the old self, which I call it. And then you have the person you want to be, the me, right? The old self is gay, honestly. It's gay. So if you're still looking at that one, whatever. Like, what it kind of says is like, it's okay, do tomorrow, I'll start in a week, whatever. You know, I can go and do that. I can skip that, whatever. Don't be gay. Don't be gay. And like, the part where you really want to put your mind to and really vote, like every action should vote for that one, is going to be like the part that says like, what's more to do? Where can I make more impact? Go harder, stay focused, do it now, etc. Right? You want to really emphasize on making sure that you're focusing on the right brain part and putting the decisions towards that one and not the other one, because you're going to have 2 people battling around every single day. So you need to make sure that your actions are voting for that other one, all right? This one. Phase number 9, moving into the last ones, is going to be redesigning your environment, all right? I do this. I've done this multiple times. I've changed my room probably like 7 times this year. And that might seem like a fucking idiot thing to do, but it really helps. And what I mean by that is like, you cannot reinvent yourself in the same environment that created your old self. If nothing around you changes, or what you do changes, don't expect anything of you to change either, all right? Growth isn't about doing more, it's about removing what's not necessary. Don't let yourself have access to distractions. I see a lot of people struggle with this, is just remove the social media. Like, if you don't need it, just remove it, right? If you don't need whatever it may be, like, don't let yourself have easy access to these distractions, because it's just gonna temptation. It's just temptation. And at the end of the day, it's taking away from your cognitive water bottle, and it's just not good. And if you rely heavily on willpower instead of environment, movement, and just like momentum overall, and your autopilot things that we've talked about previously, you're already losing. Like, you have a limited amount of willpower, as we talked about in the cognitive water bottle, and your surroundings should make the right decisions and actions automatic, and the wrong ones harder, right? So like, for me, in my room, I have a bed and I have the desktop and I have the screen, like work, right? So when I go into my room, it's either 2 things, sleep or work. I don't have fucking, like, I don't know what you guys have, but whatever. Like, don't, like, also, like, if you work in your bed, like, get the fuck out of here, bro. What the fuck is that? You're working in a comfortable place. You'll probably fall asleep. Like, it happens to everyone. Make sure you have a separate workstation from your comfort station, all right? Then they should not be together, intertwined. And to go and become someone you've never been, you have to do and be where you've never been. I've touched upon this a lot of times, so I'm not going to go into it again. But what I really, today's date, you know, you can really change a lot. You have your digital environment, so people you watch, people you follow, etc. Change that to reflect who you want to be. So don't follow these random people, all right? Change your room, separate where you're comfortable and where you're working. And this is a thing I think a lot of people should actually put more effort into, and it's like, design the places you go to. So like, maybe upgrade to a better gym, a more high quality one, you know, better place, better people, more networking opportunities in the sauna, whatever. Same for cafes, like, go to places where, you know, it might be more expensive, but you also are surrounded by an environment which luxury, money, etc. These things, I see a lot of people implement these small things, and it really helps. Like, whatever, it might be a little bit more pricey, but you're also putting yourself in environments where you're trying to be, right? So make sure you're designing your environment to match who you want to be. None of this bullshit, all right? None of that. Now I'm gonna go to the last one. I think so far, if you have actually looked at these and kind of reflected, mostly of this, I'm just trying to make you think for yourself, but All of these things are gonna play into part, and I hope you see how they do. Gonna move into the last one, which is gonna be a big one. I think this is a very important one because it's gonna happen throughout the phase. You're gonna fall off. You're gonna probably lose your momentum, whatever. I recently experienced it, and this is kind of how I would prevent it. And you never want to do it again, obviously, so I'm never gonna do that again. Really protect your momentum, all right? Really do. Like whenever I feel lost, overwhelmed, or stagnant, I don't think more, I remove the noise. How do I do that? I might go gym, I might go sauna, I might go for a run, I might go for a walk. No music, none of that, right? And like when the mind is chaotic, the body has to lead first. What I mean by that is like physical stress creates clear mental fog. When the mind is chaotic, the body has to lead first. Physical stress clears mental fog faster than any motivational speech. Any. Go for a run, go work out, go sit in the sauna for an hour. Whatever you may need to do those things. And you need to understand that you need to always speak. I say like when I do this, I speak to myself, you know? I speak to myself from the version of me that I know I need to become. And this is also, write this down somewhere, like you versus you. That's how the world works. It's a single player game. It's not a multiplayer game until you develop a business, etc. But like mostly, and you should always think for this frame, is you versus you, all right? And it's you versus the person that you know you can become. So, you know, the best version of yourself that doesn't waste time, has more money than you, maybe 5 cars, maybe 4 baby mamas, whatever it may be. That's the version of you should always compare yourself with. Comparison is the thief for joy, a lot of people say, but it's also the needle mover to actually go harder. Like if you don't have anyone to compare yourself with, you're basically comfortable and you're chill where you are. You're satisfied. I don't like to be satisfied. I like to be grateful, but I don't like to be satisfied. Clarity always shows up when there's nowhere left to escape. So like when you're feeling overwhelmed and everything is just falling on you, you know, you feel like nothing is moving as you want, etc. It's really just because like you have nowhere left to go, right? So like don't run into social media or none of that. Like try and sit with that thought, maybe meditate, whatever works for you best. For me, I like to go to the sauna. I think that works best for me. You have nowhere to go. Like you need to handle it. You can't just escape. I say a lot of people, they just escape the reality, whatever. Don't do that. Your journey won't be full free, but it's not about getting knocked down. It's how fast you can stay down and how fast you can get up and how much you let it affect you. Take it as an indicator to go harder, all right? What I mean by this is like I wrote like yesterday is like men only learn the hard way. A man that drives fast, he knows it's hard. He knows it can be dangerous, but he will only learn until he's actually close to getting a fucking car crash where he might die, whatever. That's how we learn. So these failures, view them as like, oh shit, I needed to learn that, you know? I needed to learn to go through that. I needed to learn to, you know, maybe waste that time, whatever it may be. All of these things, you should take them as lessons. Reframe every single failure because failures are inevitably greatness from God, all right? And more thinking never fixes confusion, silence does. So a very powerful frame I've recently been using, like when I think of things, it's just gonna be like, this is not your story. Like, let's say you lose it all. Like, if you just say to yourself, like, this is not my story. Like, I know this is not how the story ends. This is not whatever. Like, I think it's a very, very powerful frame. I know this was valuable for you lot. Now, this is exactly what you need to do to 2026. Make sure that this becomes the year where you become unrecognizable. Now, if you want to connect with me or if you have any questions or you need any personal advice on how to execute any of these or whatever, I've linked my new IG that I've just made in the description, so you can go and follow that. But without further, I've also made a video on the lessons that I've gone through while actually executing on all of these things, which is also going to be a very valuable one. If it's not up on my channel yet, then it's going to be soon. So make sure you keep an eye out for that one. And without that, first said, I hope you have a fucking killer year this year and reinvent yourself to become the person you want to be. Catch you in the next one.